After a tragic concert in Salt Lake City in January of 1991, AC/DC was hoping for a fresh start in the new decade and a chance to put their often painful past behind them. In September of '91, Russian President Boris Yeltsin invited AC/DC to headline a free concert for young Russians who had helped to block a communist coup.
When we arrived in Moscow, getting off the plane, there was just so many people. It was like they just stopped work.
It was supposed to be initially in Red Square, and I think they gauged with the reaction they were getting from people arriving, or however they were gauging how many people they were going to get. They moved it, and it ended up in an airstrip on the suburbs of Moscow. It was phenomenal.
On the night of September 28, 1991, over 1 million Russians rocked with AC/DC at a former Soviet air base.
That was a great gig. I remember walking on there and just, my heart was beating, I mean, it was just forever.
The band left Moscow with a renewed sense of optimism. For AC/DC, it had been a long, hard highway to hell from Australia to Russia. 17 years of heartbreak and hit records. In the year 2000, AC/DC released their 17th album, Stiff Upper Lip.
I was born with a stiff upper lip. The best fun I've ever had in the studio. The best fun I've ever had, and I mean that. I think it's gone right back to our roots and the blues and rock and roll, early rock and roll. It's just a boogie record. You can just bop to it. It's fabulous.
It's a killer album. It was a very easy to record album in as much as Malcolm and Angus had everything ready to go. So we basically just had to come along and perform as best we could. Really pleased with it.
Angus and Malcolm Young are still the heart and soul of the band they've led and loved for more than a quarter of a century.
There's no doubt about it. It's the sound of the band. It's the combination of the guitars. We can read each other's minds.
45-year-old Angus and 47-year-old Malcolm may look older these days, but their rock and roll philosophy hasn't changed since they first formed their dream band back in Australia.
We're ready to rock and roll. We just wanted to be a good rock and roll band, and that's it. It's just the simplicity of it, and that's all we can do, and stick to what you do best. That's what we do best,
And that's what I enjoy best, getting on a stage and plucking my guitar.
They say we keep doing the same stuff, but rock and roll's been around since the 50s. I mean, real rock and roll. There's a lot of pretenders out there.
Nothing's ever changed when we get on that stage. We're all still exactly the same guys we were, right back to day one.
The guys just write the songs as they write them, and we play them as we play them. And that's how it comes out.
I think Angus said it best. He says we've got 5 average guys, and you put them together, and you make this lovely thing called AC/DC.
Those 5 guys, Malcolm and Angus Young, Phil Rudd, Cliff Williams, and Brian Johnson, plan to keep making this lovely thing called AC/DC for a long, long time.
We feel we're timeless, and trends come and go, and we'll still be running through the trends, and sometimes we may do really well, sometimes maybe not so well, but it won't never change. And, there's nowhere for us to go, believe me.